You look familiar.
Our paths crossed years ago, Kabal.
I'd never forget a fight.
Gig, on video games, whether it's Anthem or any, Call of Duty, Red Dead, Revolver, all these video games, World of Warcraft. So Mortal Kombat's just one of many. And it was so long ago, I really don't remember the part of Kabal. Of course, I auditioned for it and beat out probably 500 people to play the part. And I haven't been blessed to be on camera, and I couldn't be. I'm just too busy as a voiceover talent. So that's a blessing, I guess. I don't know. But it's great to have been a part of it. And like I said, my kids love to play arcade games, and they love to play it when on PlayStation and whatever other manifestations of it. But I basically auditioned for the role of Raiden, got cast, and then they changed me to Kabal at some point. So
okay. And I suppose, David, in terms of Mortal Kombat and the movies, did you see the two movies in the 90s, the first one or two?
I haven't, and I need to go on YouTube to watch it, to tell you the truth, because I am a Mortal Kombat fan. I mean, I just don't have the time to play a lot of the games I'm in, to be honest. It's just, I have auditions waiting, or I have to go do a job in a studio. So I haven't had a chance to answer your question. I haven't really had a chance to watch the movies, but
no problem, David. In terms of Mortal Kombat being known globally all over the world, your name is associated with it now in terms of the Kabal character. Are you sort of blown away by the sheer volume of the fan base and the diehard fan base all over the world? And do you often see tweets or comments on social media with your name attached to it, or forums in terms of speaking about you and Kabal?
Yeah, even to this day, even though I haven't played Kabal in maybe 10, 15 years, I might have been 2011 was the last time I had worked on a Mortal Kombat game. Okay. I'll have to get my agent to call up and get me more gigs on the Mortal Kombat. But what the question was, am I surprised with its as a franchise?
Are you surprised to hear your name on social media by all the Mortal Kombat fans and talking about you associating your name to Kabal?
Yeah, I still get, as a matter of fact, before you even reached out to me, Jim, I get at least once every 3 weeks somebody tweeting about me as Kabal and writing me a direct message. So there is a crazy fan base out there, because like I said, I think if today's 2020 and we go back, I haven't played it since 2011, there's some people that are still, pining over the Mortal Kombat franchise and reaching out to me, wanting my autograph or want to send me a picture to sign. But they know me as, I don't know whether you know this or not, because you're probably dealing with more of the other actors that are on camera, that are live action. But the voiceover guys, we go from like Power Rangers to Star Wars to, Jiraiya the Pervy Toad Sage, which I'm on Naruto. Yeah. So I have a wide fan base that knows me for all the characters I've played, which are hundreds, and not forgotten is Kabal. Unfortunately, they don't know that I'm also Raiden till this point in a couple of the versions. So.
That's the big breaking news from this interview. Anyway, David Lodge is the original Raiden. David, in terms of there's a new Mortal Kombat movie coming out in 2021, 25 years since 1997, really. It's a blockbuster movie, and it's Lewis Tan and a good lot of actors, and it's more going back to the sort of Lewis Tan, who plays an actor, in a recent interview, he said, this is dark, it's sinister, it's more like a Dark Knight, more like a Joker in terms of an R sort of a rating. And do you think maybe audience are more acceptable of those sort of movies now than they would have been in the 90s, in terms of it was more PG, more family orientated, they couldn't go past a certain level of violence? Now we're seeing today in the 21st century, they're more sort of darker, sort of sinister sort of movies. And Mortal Kombat, I suppose, fits right into that element.
I think in order to appeal to the wide base of people, they have to go the Dark Knight route. Even Superman, which used to be silly, if you remember, with Gene Hackman in the early, and Chris Reeves, they were silly, the Superman things back in the 80s. And then the taste of our culture whether because we're living in a dystopia right now or not, or just because our tastes have evolved, we've taken on that whole Dark Knight feel of the Batman, where things are really darker and more cinematic and more real in terms of, violence and dark themes. We're more accepting of that. Would you agree, Jim, that the culture has become more accepted? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be great. I mean, even look at Star Wars behind me. It started out very Flash Gordon-like and fun, and then it became progressively darker, right?
Yeah.
So everything's moving into that realm. I think the taste quotient and the believability of neutral characters becoming good and then becoming bad, and then bad characters becoming good only to become badder. It's crazy. So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
And I suppose, David, you mentioned it's a long time since you've voiced the character Kabal, and you've done so many that it's impossible for your memories. But when you go in and you see a script in front of you in terms of a character, do you almost feel that sort of, can you get a sense of an idea? What do you picture an image, or do you have to see the animations and the drawings of him first to get an idea how you're going to voice him? Or what's as a voice actor, how does that work? Because is it just you go by lines, or do you see a bit of video in terms of his backstory, his research? Because obviously the tone of the voice, everything, how you want to portray that sort of look. Obviously, if you don't have maybe drawings or a bit of video footage to see, I imagine it can't really draw up that imaginary picture in your head.
Well, to answer the question, the answer is yes and no. Like you said, depending upon what's available. I always ask if there's a picture of the character, because that lets you know sort of like, is he evil looking? Is he short? Is he tall? Does he have a lot of muscles? So it helps to have that. But if they don't have a visual image, either in a video or a actual rendering, then I have to make it up on the spot. Yesterday, for example, I went in to work on a new video game, NDA. I can't talk about it, but it was for Warner Brothers. And they can't tell me the name of the project. They can't tell me really what it's about. But you're this character. Here's the qualities that you got to be. And then I come up with a voice or whatever they may need. So it could be anything, like an old timer, or like Dusty or something, so it just depends on the situation. When you work in cartoons, they have a lot more information. They have the pictures of the characters, like for Disney, they do that a lot. When you get to video games, they just throw you in the booth and say, we can't tell you much, but you're a bad guy, you're angry, you've been through a lot of stuff. And then you come up with a voice print and you say, how about this guy? Or how about this voice print? Or how about this tone? How about this age? And then I just do it on the spot and we roll, boom, record.
So David, I take it in terms of that being involved as a voiceover actor, it means obviously if you portray a character in one sort of video game, obviously in 5 or 6 years time you could come along and portray a different character. You don't have to necessarily stay associated to the same character. So if a new video game comes about, say a new Mortal Kombat in 2 years time, you could voice a different character, different roles. So it gives you that sort of variability to move around, where as an actual actor, his face is probably shown as one character, then he's probably always associated with that character. And I suppose it's very hard to portray a different character unless he changes his looks dramatically.
Well, yes, like once again, yes and no. Like I'm known as a multi-voice. So like if a character arises that like I played in Dynasty Warriors, an Asian character, Ling Tong, so you maybe have a slight Asian accent, something like that. Or like I do a lot of Russians, maybe the guy is like a big Russian Mortal Kombat killer and he has a voice like this. I will kill you. I will crush you. Let's fight. So whatever
accent, that'd be Street Fighter-esque.
Yeah, come on. So so I take on accents, or I can be anybody they pretty much want, and that's why they pay me. They say be a bird, be a dog. I do all that stuff. I do impersonations. So voice actors, if they're a multi-voice as I am, we get to play whatever, little kids maybe, or, whatever they want, and then we go into the monsters or dragons, whatever they need. So if Mortal Kombat was to come and approach me and say, David, we want you to be Kabal, or we want you to be someone new, I could do it.
You can